welcome MDC family on this cool Wednesday evening. This evening we've got Councillor Gilbert Campbell from North Luton, Birmingham area, Conservative.
You've been doing your research.
I've been doing a little research, yes, of course. And yeah, that we want to talk to him about his experiences and how he came over here and so forth, and his experiences as a councillor in Luton. You have the floor, brother. Again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction.
No,
It's really gone and done a little bit of research. And yes, I'm a councillor for Birmingham, but I'm also a councillor for the town. So what happened in the town, I'm involved in it. Right, let me start from the beginning. I came to England in '61. Right, my father was working for the Jamaica High Commission at the time. I did 2 years schooling in Paddington. I then did an apprenticeship in carpentry, and it snowballed from there. I also left my carpentry and became a roadie for a band for a little while. And the band I was driving and looking after did the opening for Aretha Franklin show in Astoria, Finsbury Park, and Hammersmith Odeon.
okay.
And that great lady, I met her. Beautiful, fantastic lady. I'm just giving you a little flavor.
Yes. No, carry on.
But then I met my wife and I went back to my carpentry and everything. So in 1978, I started working for myself. Listen, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
That was when we had almost the winter discontent, when there was a bit of chaos in this country. Now, moving forward, in 1985, my wife and myself opened the first dementia care home for people, right? The first private one in Luton. We also, in 1987, opened one in Bedford. Small homes, because at the time they wanted homes with a small age, get rid of them big institutions that drug up people, right? But in 1998, when the Labour government came into power, they changed a lot of the rules and regulations, which basically small homes like what we had could not survive, right? That is the way things worked out. So basically, that went sideways. Now in 2003, I then got involved. Let me go back a little bit. Before that, I ran for county councillor in Luton. I did about 4 or 5 different times to get into the council, and I lost. But in 2003, the boundaries changed, which gave me the opportunity to win in Birmingham. So I've been a councillor from 2003.
Can I just ask a quick question? When you say you lost, how do you mean you lost?
Well, basically, a county councillor, I run for that in Sandon Park, and it involved Bedford and Luton. But when they count the vote, I didn't win. So I lost. So I did it 4 or 5 times, run for council, you know, but I persisted.
Mm.
Right?
So what made you want to be a councillor, and specifically a Conservative? Was it something you always wanted, or was it just something
let's go back to 1980, right? 83, me and my wife tried to get money from loan to start that care home, right?
Right.
Barclays didn't want to do. Didn't want to lend us no money. Then Margaret Thatcher came into power, right?
Mm-hmm.
The banks opened up, NatWest, especially NatWest, opened up. And we sat down with because I was self-employed at the time, working for myself. So I had an accountant, right? I sat down with my accountant, we did a profit loss, etc., on the prospect of opening the care home.
Right.
And we took it to NatWest. And NatWest looked at it and said, it's a good project. Here is the money. We remortgage our house.
All right.
To put money into that project. I worked for 3 months solid, 7 days a week, doing the building work, conversion, right? To turn it into a care home for 11 people. My wife is a nurse. She did the other side of the business. And we opened it. Now, there was no problem with NatWest. They were over the moon to help us. Right? My wife is from Trinidad and she's a darker skin than me, right? So we used to go into the bank, go up to the business manager, and we used to sit down there and discuss things, right? So that's where we started. And somebody said to me, Gilbert, who was in power when you had the opportunity to do these things? So that's what made me go in that direction.
Right. So because they was willing to fund the operation.
I look at things in life, right, as a conservative now, right? But any government that will put policies in place that will help people to open business or get bigger business to expand and give people work, I will support. Don't care what party they are. So long as they put, you see, my attitude is government can't run business. Business people run business.
Okay.
But if government put policies in place for that to happen, I will support it. Now, back up a little bit. Winter of discontent. You ain't old enough for it, are you?
Sorry, no. You might have to talk up a bit. I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Winter of discontent.
Oh, okay.
You know about it, but you weren't old enough.
No.
To live through it. I did. It was a nightmare. We had the brain drain. We had people stop investing money in this country. They just left because they can make more money investing in America and different countries, right? When you had the tax of 33 1/3 for basic, 60% and 90%. So if you invested your money and you made a pound profit, you want to get 10p. When you go to America, you get 50p. So people stop investing money in the country. Now, a lot of people don't like money. I can understand that. It's their choice, right? She came to power and she had top rate tax 40%, which encouraged people to come and try and invest in this country. And you need people to invest in the country to provide jobs for people to have an income and be able to live, marry, raise a family, right? And that's what government should do, put policies in place. right? Because from experience, as I say, I've been here since 1961. And my experience is that Harold Wilson, a whole lot of them, right? They think they can run business and they can't. But put policies in place so business can run business and employ people. And hopefully they get a good wage. I mean, when I get married, I was earning £1 an hour. In
How much an hour?
£1 an hour.
A pound.
£1 an hour in 1971.
See? Not even born yet, boy.
In 1972. Listen, I gotta get a little thing. At the Oval Cricket Ground in 1963, I was there when West Indies beat up England in the Test match series.
All right.
I was running on the cricket. So I've been around a long time. But back to where I was now. What I'm saying is that government put policies in place. And as I said, in 1971, I got married in Ealing. And
can you just talk up a little bit because
sorry,
I'm not
I
hearing
got
you clearly.
Ealing, and they wanted me. They offered me a flat in Cllr Estate in Wembley.
Oh, so when you came over, you was in London first?
Yeah, when I first came, I lived in Maidaville with my cousin.
And you came over what date again, sorry?
November 1961.
All right.
I still have that passport.
Yeah, you were saying about the passport then. You still have every one of them?
I have all my old passport.
All right. Nobody can dash you out then?
Let me give you a thing though. I went 1967. I had an Anglo Estate car. I had some friends in Mallorca playing music. And I drove all the way to Barcelona. Went on the ferry, went to Mallorca and spent 6 weeks with them.
Okay.
On a Jamaican passport.
On a Jamaican passport?
On a Jamaican, and I still got that passport.
Okay.
I tell you why I had a Jamaican passport then.
Yeah.
I was in a rush to get a passport. And I walk into the Jamaica High Commission and they all knew me. And within a 1 day, me had the passport. Because my father used to be there. Grosvenor Square near Victoria. That's where it first was. The Jamaica High Commission. So that's why I had a Jamaican passport. And I can tell you something. The black guys that had British passport had more trouble between Spain and France border than I had with a Jamaican passport.
Serious?
That's serious. Because we got, I won't go through the full story. I was driving them back. I came back and I went back about 3 days later and drive this other band in a transit minibus back to England. That was the band that opened the Aretha Franklin show. Joe Young. He ended up singing for the foundation. And they closed the border till 8 o'clock the next morning between Spain and France. So we had to sleep in the minibus till 8 o'clock the next morning. Yeah. Nowadays you can drive straight through. Anyway, where was I? I lost track. I've gone back. So yeah, as I say, 1971 I got married. I was earning £1 an hour. Then 72, we bought a house in Luton, a 2-bedroom semi. £8,500.
Why Luton? Did you have any links to Luton?
No. As I said, I was working in London, right? I was living in, where was I living at the time? Ealing, Alperton.
Yeah.
Clayton Avenue, never forget. And yeah, back up. They wanted to give me a flat in Charcoal Estate, the council. I said, forget it. That was a nightmare place.
Bad place, yeah.
They knock it down, didn't they? So anyway, I spent 2 weeks in my holiday looking at 30-mile radius of London to see where I could find a place to buy. We looked in Chesham. They were building these new houses for, I forget how much it was, but within a day, they upped the price. So we couldn't afford it. So we come look at Luton, and there was this 2-bedroom semi that was finished built on the license during the Second World War to move people from London, from the bombing, by 8,500. So that's why we were in the ballpark of being able to afford somewhere.
What area of Luton was that? Because why I'm asking you that is where?
Sundon Park. Do you know it?
Oh, yes, I know Sundon Park. Because the question this was leading to is, why did you become a councillor? Well, North Luton's councillor is of Birmingham. What was it, out of choice, or was it that what would it be, constituents that was given to you?
Let me explain that part to you. Right? I ran for Birmingham before and lost, because part of Birmingham was, I know if you know Luton, part of Marsh Farm was Birmingham at the time.
Yeah.
Right? There's a few roads in Marsh Farm was part of Birmingham. And I lost I was losing by 19 votes. And we had a recount, and I lost by 23 votes. So I called it a day. But then when they moved the boundary, so Marsh Farm become my zone, Birmingham become my zone, then I won.
Okay.
Right? Now, who was with me? It was a lady. I forget her name now, because it's a long time ago. And I beat her with the votes, although she won as well.
Yeah. And
ever since, I have always beat my colleague with the vote. I get more votes, even to the last, which was 2019. So I've always been, and basically Birmingham, Ickney, and somewhere else were strong conservative areas as well.
Yeah.
Right? So basically, that's why. Okay? But as I explained to that, I will support any government that put policies in place so people can either open their own business or business expand and provide jobs, right?
Strive for better.
Any government, don't care who they are, right? Labour, Liberal, because when you must remember, Churchill in 1909 was a Liberal MP.
Yeah.
I never know that. You never know.
Churchill, I'm gonna tell you the story. Churchill was the one who had the idea of a welfare state when he was a Liberal MP.
Okay.
And that's, anyway, shall we move forward back to 21, 22?
Yes.
Sorry, 72, sorry. So anyway, we bought the house. What was it? The building society in Wembley. They said the house was too expensive. But for the extra £800, if we took out a one-off insurance to cover that, they'll lend us the money. Nationwide. That's the builders. So we bought that house. And I remember the wife was working nights. I was working day. No, sorry. We had our first child in January 73.
It's still not born yet.
That's my eldest. That's my eldest daughter. She'll be 50 next year. All right. So anyway, and I spend all the time working, even till 10, 11 o'clock at night, fixing the house, so central heating, like new bathroom, everything. Times are hard. £1 an hour. I was working 7 days a week.
Was that good money then? £1 an hour.
What, £1 an hour?
I mean, no, because it doesn't sound like much to us now.
We managed to live.
But I mean, it doesn't sound like much to us then, but now,
Yeah,
but in them time there, that was probably good money, yeah?
Tax for the house was £35 a year. But there's a bit of relative in it. So, I mean, it wasn't easy, it was hard. And I used to, when they says overtime, I put my hand up, the first one, because that's the more money I earn, the best I could keep my head above water. Right. And as I said to the wife, give it 5 years, things will get better. Your wages might increase, etc., etc., etc. I used to have a Mini 850. Used to drive up and down the motorway every day, 7 days a week. Right. I used to work on a job and the foreman gone home and I still there. Because the more hours I put in, the more money I earn. So anyway, we had our first child in 73, January 73. My wife was working nights, I was working days. So for about an hour and a half, we had somebody come in and babysit when the wife get home from work. So move forward a little bit. I don't know what time we got. We got plenty of time left.
Yeah, we got at least 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If you can do that.
I can go on all night.
All right.
77, we had our second child, which was a boy. And he was born January, oh my goodness, the 3rd, 77. So was it November 77? We moved into this house where I'm living now. 3-bedroom semi from around the corner in Sunderland Park. It was a dirty old place, but it was massive. Garden and everything, right? Which was.
Can you talk up a little bit? Still
it was
struggling.
a massive garden and everything in a nice close, right? So sometime I got a bit quiet. So it was ideal for my idea what I wanted to do, because my idea was I'm gonna build a big extension of a good house for the family.
Yeah.
Because I can do it. So we're moving. I had 1 day between taking this house over and moving in. So we come in, we rip up all the carpet, everything I did stink. Clean the place up. Live on the floorboard for over a year. You couldn't even, we had to boil water to bath because the pipe then fur up.
Same time there.
1977. So in 78, we had a coal fire and had a paraffin heater down the other side of the road, because once you move from the coal fire, you freeze. I still have that paraffin heater in my shed.
That's nothing way, yeah?
Because when I live in West Hampstead with my cousin, we had one paraffin heater in the whole of the house, in the lounge, and the rest of the place cold. Icicle on the front, the window inside. Anyway, so Yes, and we struggle. Put new pipes in, did real central heating, all on my own. Work hard. And as I said, I always tell people, work hard. Hard work never kill you. Laziness kill you.
Mm.
Because you will sit there, get fat, obese, and diabetes, and all sort of things will take you over.
Mm.
Right? Am I boring you?
No.
No, sir.
So eventually 1980 come, and I was working in Birmingham on a 11th floor office block. I was a working foreman, and I had this young man come and work with me, and I trained him up. And if you see where that young man is today, you wouldn't believe it. He's a millionaire. He has turned his life around. I still see him, and I still talk to him on the phone.
Mm.
And this was 1980.
Mm.
And we were working in Birmingham from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night because I was on piecework. I used to come home at weekend and build my extension on my house. And that's what I said. So in 1985, we remortgaged the house to start the business, the care home. Right? And we haven't looked back. Right?
Mm.
And then 1987, we had our third child because we realized we can afford it. We can afford that extra child. We didn't have, because I have never taken a penny off the state.
Mm.
I've been there and signed on, and they said, we give you £3 in Stockwell. I said, keep it. I went next day and get a job.
Mm.
Because, and as I say, hard work don't kill you.
Mm.
And I work hard.
You mentioned your wife being darker than yourself.
She's a Trini.
She's a Trini. But in
She's
that
your
sense,
complexion.
huh?
She's your complexion.
All right, okay. So in that sense, have you found? I mean, being a conservative, then have you found there's a struggle then, as no struggle racially wise?
No.
Mm.
No. Right, you want to come on to politics? No.
Yes.
Right? I got a photograph of me, the wife, and John Major.
Okay.
We went to a function in Huntington. He wasn't, this is after he wasn't Prime Minister.
Mm.
And the agent said to him, it's Mr. and Campbell and his wife anniversary. Because we got married in November the 20th. And he goes, he was signing a book. I said, just put Mr. and Mrs. Campbell. He said, no. And he write one long sentence. We took photographs. I met him several times. You know, and he, lovely man. What you people gotta realize, that man live in Brixton. That's where he come from.
He comes from Brixton.
He come from Brixton.
John Major.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, now compare Tony Blair to John Major, right? Tony Blair had a silver spoon in his mouth. He went to big private school in Scotland, right? John Major father, I think, was a circus artist person. When he went to Huntington to run for MP, He drove from Brixton in a battered up old mini car, him and his wife. That is where the man started. So we must look at everyone, regardless of what party they are, where they're coming from. Right?
So not either side of the fence then. On the political side, it was cool. In the community, it was cool, yeah?
Nothing is ever perfect,
Right.
right? From both sides, right? As I say, Tony Blair, silver spoon in his mouth, right? He went to big private school in Scotland, etc., etc., etc. Yes, other conservatives come from Oxford and things like that, right? So you were saying, excuse me. So I met him, right, several times. I Warman Abbey, right? There was Ian Duncan Smith was the leader of the party, right? Where was I sitting? On the top table with him. No problem. No problem. We sat there all night during the talk, chat, change ideas. You know, so what I'm saying is that I found no problem, right? We went to a function in Buckinghamshire, in somebody's back garden. A big marquee with 300 people. Who was the guest speaker? Margaret Thatcher. Got a photograph of my wife with Margaret Thatcher signing her thing. No problem. I have found in my community in Luton, I have had problems with Black Labour councillors. Way of being conservative. Because I'm a Caribbean, I must be Labour. I've got a mind, I can choose what I want to do. It's a free world, right? The only problem I get is with the Asian community. Now, let's go back to things like the Windrush and people coming over here. There's doctors, nurses, teachers, etc. came over to the UK. And the only jobs they could do is probably working cleaners in the hospital, working on the bus and everything, doing all these menial jobs, right?
Menial jobs.
Which is, am I right? But a lot of these jobs was union based. So they got involved. They had to be union, and union linked with the Labour Party.
Right.
So basically they sort of got carried into that direction.
Because the idea was the Labour is for the working man.
Are they really?
Well, I mean, that was the idea.
Well, that's what they tried to say. But now, as I said, they're union based, right? Remember, there was teachers, doctors, all sorts of people come from the Caribbean, and they ended up having to work on the buses, things like that, right? It's changed a bit now, right? Who runs John Lewis, the big store.
I couldn't tell you, sir.
A black woman. She worked in government in the finance department since the 90s.
Mm.
And John Lewis got in trouble. She got the job. And she's turned it around. That this year they're getting their bonus. A black woman. She's a DM. She was a black woman. I've watched her. But what I'm saying is that I remember I worked on a job called the Hilton Hotel in Shepherd's Bush.
Mm-hmm.
It was a union job. You had to be union to work there. One day, the concrete finishers, 12 of them, decide they're gonna have a meeting. And then they come and tell the other 400 or 500 of us on site, brothers all, tomorrow, don't come, we're striking. So don't cross the picket line. So Saturday morning, come, we just walk past them. I got a mortgage to pay. I got a family to look after.
Mm.
These 12 men, they decide that the other 400 or 500 must do what they tell them. No, that's not democratic, is it?
True.
Just because they were being laid off, their side of the job was finished. Well, I have family, mortgage, everything. Somebody just walked past them. And everybody else did.
Mm.
Now, you, as I said, you weren't even born before my first daughter was born. I remember Leland. I remember some of these companies, like the joke in British Leland, when if you pick up a brush and start to sweep, it's not your job. Strike.
Okay.
The unions used to go in with Harold Wilson, sit down in 10 Downing Street, have a beer, and demand what they want. And that's it. They get it.
Mm.
Because they were powerful then.
Mm.
What started the winter discontent? Ford Car Company decided they want 40% increase in their wages. 40%.
40%.
Yeah, this was in the 70s. And it snowballed right around. I think Harold Wilson was in power there. Yeah, so that's what started the winter discontent.
Mm.
And it literally, it bankrupted this country. I'm sorry, it did. You know, and that's why manufacturing in this country, sorry, the manufacturers like in Luton, we used to have Vauxhall, which was about 30,000 people used to work there, gone. Skefco, gone. All those big manufacturers are gone.
Electrolux. Hatters. Electrolux.
Electrolux, yeah. Electrolux. Electrolux still got because they make fly more and all that, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, they make them fly more. They still have the head office here,
Oh, okay.
but they make fly more and all those other equipment.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is like, right, Skefco make ball bearing. I think they're a Swedish company.
Mm.
They had a big factory in Stoneham Park,
Yeah.
and they had the same thing down in near Berry Park.
Yeah. I worked at the one in Sundon Park for work experience.
Well, Skefco,
Yeah.
they make ball bearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big company in this town, you know,
Mm.
and they decide to improve the factory by putting better machinery in, and they're going to spend millions of pounds, right?
Mm.
But they ask the workers, we have to change a 3 shift. Them say no. They want to start at 8, finish at 5, and close the factory.
Mm.
And Cllr says, we're going to invest money. We have to change work patterns. So let's have a 3-shift system, morning, evening, and night, to make the investment profitable. Because at the end of the day, they have to have a bottom line for them to keep going to employ people. And they refused. So Cllr said bye and left. I'll give you an example. There was a company in Brighton making, I think, batteries, right? And a company in Denmark. No, sorry. They were making motors for freezers, right? In Brighton. And a company in Denmark making the same motor for freezers. Now, Denmark is a very expensive country. I think a pint of beer over there is about £5. But yet still, Denmark could sell the motor cheaper than the one made in Brighton. Why? More productive.
So I see you're involved in.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 minute.
Yeah, come on.
I see you're involved with parenting board.
Sorry?
The parenting board.
That's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare.
65% of the council budget goes on children.
Right. What is that? Can you explain it to us, that those that don't know? You myself.
What I find with it, and I'm not, what I keep saying, we need people to mentor these children, right? Because life ain't easy out there, right? In the open world. Okay? I have had several young people work for me and work with me, and you see what they've done now. They've improved their life. They're doing very well, right? Because they realize hard work can pay. Vince Blackett, when he came and helped me, he was going in the wrong direction. And I see him now, and he lives in Feltham in London now. He has properties. He does a lot of building work for rich people. He makes a lot of money, and he's done very well for himself. And he will tell you, he learned it all from me. Because we see him up to the other day. He was doing a job in Luton. So anyway, that's how I look at things, you know. So I lost track of what I was going down now.
Parenting board, you said it was a bit of a shambles.
What I look at is, the children come in there, me want this, me want that one. And I'm saying, yeah. You give it to them. As I say, when I got married, I was earning £1 an hour. It wasn't easy, but work hard, come through it. But if you're gonna give these children everything and they don't work for it in a sense, there's a place called Mary Seaco in Luton.
Yeah.
They have 2 or 3 places in Brantford Road. Desley and Stewart. She's still alive actually. She's a Labour councillor. And I said to them, I said, that woman can die and leave something behind, because she started it. Right? And it's where these children go and they get mentored and looked up. You know, they live there and you know, I was on the board at one time and then they took me off.
So is that what it deals with then? Places like that, hostels and stuff like that?
Yeah. Desley and Stewart start, who I've lost you. What's up?
Well, yeah.
something gone wrong. Something gone wrong. Have I touched something?
No, you're good. You're there. You can see you.
Yeah, that's better. Sorry. I think I touched something. Yeah, there's the insurance. And I was on the board, and then they took me off. And then the lady who runs it, she said, oh, you could still come. I said, if I can't come officially, I don't want to know.
Mm.
Right? But it was it's a good project.
Mm.
You know, but they do training, they have, like around the back, they have computer rooms and all that and everything to help these youngsters. But the parenting board, they're just giving them what they want. There was a young man, he says, foster parent don't love you like your real parent. And I thought, well, why are you in foster care if your real parent love you that much?
True.
Now, there's help for them, because I think, is it 18 or 19 they used to have to come off being fostered,
Mm.
but they've changed the rule now so they can become like a tenant with a tenancy agreement with the foster parent.
Oh, so when they're old enough to collect money, then they're willing to take
So
them
they
on
can
the tenant.
stay with the foster parent till I think they're 25.
Yeah.
But they become a tenant.
Mm.
That's how it works. It's not my favorite committee. One of my favorite committees is health scrutiny.
Right.
We can have doctors from the hospital, which we have. One of the last one I was on, we had 2 doctors from the L&D hospital, and we scrutinize them. We ask them, why is this? Why is that? But why aren't you doing this? Why is it this? Right? The East of England ambulance, we can drag them in and says X, Y, and Z. Why are you failing this? Well, what are you going to do about it? We got that authority, which I love, because we can question them and they have to come up with answers.
Okay, you're making them accountable.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of the things I asked for. One of the meetings, they want to move the cancer unit from Mount Vernon to Watford.
Mm.
Now, I had cancer 10 years ago, 2012. I had major life-saving surgery in 2011 on a Saturday afternoon. I went in there and I didn't think I was going to live.
Give thanks to pull through.
6 months later, they found out cancer. 21 radiation therapy in Mount Vernon.
Mm.
Fantastic place. So I get involved in a lot of things like that, and I like it because we can question and we have to get answers.
What about any groups who try and solve any issues within the Black community?
Right. I don't know how long we got now, right? But I'm going to come on to something which is very personal to me and to do with the Black community. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm gonna finish off with this. Okay?
Yes.
1999. Before I became a councillor, I was involved with a charity. I was vice chair. And we had meetings in the town hall, etc. We had 5 of us sat in each concern and put together a project for the council for a daycare center for the Caribbean community. Okay? And we got it. They built a place in Trinity Road for the elderly Caribbean community in 1999. This was before I became a councillor. I was well involved in it. It was a place called the Old School House, where they had a school with old coal fire, outside toilet and gas light, and they knocked it down and built this daycare centre. So when I became a councillor, we had what we call wellbeing and luncheon clubs and all that sort of thing for the Caribbean community.
Yeah.
I used to chair some of the committee meetings, and the Labour Council decided they're gonna stop funding the wellbeing and luncheon clubs, which help the Black community elders from doing exercise, learning to use computers, etc., and help them from going into hospital because they're doing eating proper diet, etc., right? Because one of the things the Black community have is diabetes and things like that, right? But sometimes it's proper health eating, which, okay, the council scrap all that. So they had no funding, no more. And I kick up a stink about it. Because at the end of the day, the Caribbean community helped to build Luton.
Yes.
Right? We came here from the 5th after the war. Okay? And to do that to them, I think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not nice, is it?
Eh?
No, that's not nice.
Well, let me come on to the crux of the matter and everything. That daycare centre, the Labour group decided they're going to close it down and sell it. There was 37 or 40 Caribbean people registered to use it. They're not there every day, right? But that's theirs, right? They used to pick them up, take them home at 2 o'clock. And I used to say, but you got this resource. A lot of these elderlies are sitting at home at weekends. Let charity run it at the weekends, right? They don't want that, okay? So they decide they're gonna close it down and sell it to the highest bidder. 3 years I fight against it. Pastor Patrick wanted to buy it for the Caribbean community, but he couldn't afford what other wanted to pay for it. They only wanted 200 and something thousand pounds. They sold it for 550. I decided to have a protest meeting outside the town hall with placards.
You're rebel.
I had the BBC TV there, 3 Counties Radio, the newspaper. I had Neville White, who didn't like me much, a Labour councillor, came and joined me. Norris Bullock, God rest his soul, he passed away in St. Vincent. He supported me. We spoke to the BBC TV, both of us. The BBC TV was there. They still went ahead to sell it. So I had one last chance to stop it. There's a thing called a call-in. I call in the decision to sell it. And they had a committee there. And I laid out what I thought. Okay.
Mhm.
And I was just about to turn it round. And Roger Kirk, that son of a gun, the asset manager, everybody was ready to vote for me. He turned around and said, if you do that, the people who want to buy it will sue the council. You were telling me a council go into an arrangement where the purchasers can sue you if you change your mind?
Mhm.
The only place that happens is in Scotland. It don't happen in England.
So why do you think the council is against providing the Black community with whatever we need? Why do you think that it's like this? And this seems to be in the UK. This seems to be anywhere Black people are. So why is it this way?
Completely necessary. You got North of Watford, it's slightly different. North of Watford Gap, the service station,
Yeah,
you got there, it's slightly different. You got Birmingham, it's slightly different.
yeah.
It's not as bad as Luton. All right. There's a factory that make patties in Birmingham,
Yeah.
and they run the Jamaica High Commission there 2 days a week. I know the lady that runs it.
Okay, bring it back. Bring it back to Luton then. Why is it this way in Luton?
I told you, what is the population of Luton? 50% Asian.
Yeah, they're about, you said about what, 40 or 50%, 40%, something like that. What is the population of Black people in Luton? I think we're 10% of the overall population, so that's about 20,000 or so.
About 5% or so.
They decided to move them into a different place to share, right? So I went around there and there was only 9 Caribbean people there. The second time I visited, there was 12. So at full council, I decided to ask questions. Why? You promised that these people were going to be moved and you're extending this property and they can be there. But when I got it, there's 9 and there's 37 registered. And I asked the portfolio, why? And you know what she said to me?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go to Jamaican lingo now. Some of them must be dead or gone home. That is in full council. The portfolio answer to my question. Because I have to give the question by Friday morning to be able to ask it. So they can look into it. So I get up and say, supplementary, please, Mr. Mayor. The second time I went there was only 12 Caribbean. And these people used to say to me, why have you done that to us? Why you kick us out of our place? So I asked her, why the second time I went there was only 12? You know what she said to me? Yeah. Did you talk to the staff? Some of them must have been in the toilet.
Wow.
Yeah. And my theory is they're trying to wipe the history of the Caribbean community out of Luton. From what they've done with the Wellbeing Luncheon Club, the daycare centre,
Starlight, Bingy.
You say in Luton.
So then whose responsibility now is it going to be to provide these things for our community? Is it going to be it seems like it's going to be our
right.
Our
we have to do it off our own back.
We have to do it ourselves.
We pack it.
Yeah.
Don't. I've been accused of being Islamophobia and racist against the Asian. Anyway, through my cricket club, right?
I was gonna mention that you got the t-shirt, you got the shirt on.
Yeah, the East of England Cricket Board willing to throw money at us willy-nilly. if we can set up something. We have all different people. We have three, we have youth and 2 first teams, second and first team. And if we have youngsters and female as well,
That's good.
Definitely.
the ECB will throw money at us. Our vision is to own our own place in Luton. And if we can put things together, the money will follow. What?
But we need to finance it ourselves, because if we get funding after a while, they always pull the rug from under our feet.
In Bedfordshire, live in Luton.
Yes, I agree.
And when we were doing that protest outside the town hall, he walked by, look at us and walk on. Ignored us. I don't talk to him no more.
Yeah.
So who's that again?
I'm not gonna name him.
All right, okay.
He is stinking rich.
Stinking rich this year.
Yeah, we've got an organization where we're trying to trying to suggest these things to the community, but a lot of the community is not having it. I don't know what's been done to our mind, because you're an elder man. I'm 47. You're an elder man, so you're talking these same experiences, these same situations for Black people from then till now. I'm 47. I'm talking about it now. I've got kids that's 16. He's telling me the same thing. But why is our community and the members of our community not seeing this?
Stilburn used to ask me this question. Why is Luton like this compared to the rest of the country? And I said, they used to work in Vauxhall, earn good money, unskilled workers, some of them, earn good money, have a 3-bedroom semi-detached and a Vauxhall car in the driveway, and then think they made it.
And they're content with that.
Content.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
can I ask a question?
Go on.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead,
on.
brother.
There's so many different organizations within Luton, even the studios with what's his name, Philip, and all of them guys, right? But I never seen no outcome of it, because what the government must be thinking sometimes when some of these people get the sponsorship by the government, they use it the wrong way, and it doesn't. They don't make it self-supporting, if you understand. That means they're making no money to develop something into something. They're just taking out of it.
Right.
Yeah, because obviously it's the wrong. It's got to be the wrong people. It seems like that's in these positions, brother.
This is why you get governments who see people structurally given the chance, but they don't see the outcome, so they just push it aside. Where other places, like in London and that, people that did do things, it lasted for a long time. I'm not saying.
I agree with you.
So what is wrong with the mentality, the minds of the Black people in Luton? Why is it different than Birmingham? Why is it different than London? Why is it different, brother? Because this is what is.
Let me
One at a time.
Let me interject a little bit here, right? A lot of young Black people, children, male and female, they don't live in Luton no more. Them gone.
True.
They got
True.
good education, good job, them gone.
True.
Right.
That is true.
Rose.
I ain't joking. There's some very, in the council that says, why don't we have more ethnic minority working in the council? We said, a dead-end job. These young, intelligent, well-educated Black kids, them gone to London.
That's the thing. Most kids, even in my generation, once they come out of school, and that's it. They're gone. If it's
No,
uni, college,
no, but it seems
but
like
they're gonna.
no, but
money
it's,
is higher in London
no,
because
no. Sorry, Norman. Sorry, no, but it seems that it's the ones that get up and go and leave Luton. It seems they've got a certain mindset, you know, and want to see certain progression and certain things happening that they're not seeing in Luton. So again, it comes back to the same answer. What is wrong with the minds of the people in Luton that we can't see the issues that is within our community and don't recognize after all of the stories from elders and us and everything to know that the only way that anything's going to happen for our community, we have to finance it, we have to sponsor it, support it, we have to come together in love and trust and honesty and commit ourselves to this. Why can we not see this?
Right, you go in a West Indian restaurant or takeaway or whatever, and say why the food's so expensive? Because cooking West Indian food take a long time. It's not like your peri chicken, you just and chips. It's not a burger.
you have to boil the peas and everything.
Yes, bro. Then you got the macaroni cheese and you got.
Plus, our food is more expensive to buy anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But that's true. But but if there was a strategy, a plan, a system, it could still be done. Of course. When we go to the West Indian, that's when we go to the
food shops, restaurants in this country, even in Brighton. Right? Reddington Road. Years ago, I used to go down there. Them own half of it, big bakery and everything.
Yeah, but with all due respect, yeah, it seems. Yeah, but in Luton and most of the places where black people are, it seems like the only businesses we really do is the barber shop, the hairdresser, and the food shop. That's all that is the main jobs we do when there's so many other different areas of businesses that we need to do to help build up our community.
There is youngsters,
so we can help offer jobs.
There is young black kids doing it today, but you don't see that.
That's true.
As I said to you, who running John Lewis, one of the oldest and biggest chain store in this country, is a black woman.
Yeah, it's true. But no disrespect.
I may never know that. I was always thinking it was run by white people.
Yeah, but big respect.
When
big respect to
John
that black
Lewis got into trouble, she got the job and took, because they had not the John Lewis's bonus is by all the staff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shareholders.
Shareholders, right? Yeah, right, sir.
Yeah, but with all due respect,
they had another bonus for 3 years, and she turned it around and gonna give them bonus this year.
Right.
But that's only John Lewis. John Lewis, respect to her, and that's a big achievement. But our, 1 minute, Norm. Our community needs much more than that. Look how many different areas of businesses there is that should be providing the goods, the services, you know, to our community. So respect to that woman. You know what I mean? And that is a big achievement. But what happened to then, you know, all of the food shops, all other types of businesses and within all different industries and areas, you know, accountancy, you know, the lawyer firms, there's so many different areas of business that black people.
There are blacks organizations that are doing that, but not in Luton itself. And if there are, there's a
but we're talking about Luton. We're talking about Luton because we've got Councillor Gilbert Campbell, who is the councillor.
Like what you're saying is right, okay? It's absolutely right. What we need to do is be encouraging people who have those qualities,
those skill sets,
to form a band of some sort, whether it's solicitors, whether it's doctors, whatever. Well, we need to form something like that we can. You know what I mean? It's all right us talking about it, but you have to look at the individual. Like the gentleman was saying, there's youngsters who know the computer well, and they know certain things. If we was to band them up together, we could open up some form of company.
Listen,
Yeah, but are we gonna just rely on
listen,
the
there's a black guy
youngsters?
working the
No,
council.
it's the young men of today and the men of tomorrow. We cannot
listen.
exclude them.
Gentlemen,
One
there's
at
a
a
black
time,
guy
please.
working the council
Hold on,
in the accounts department, right? I said, if he give 1 hour a week to help these elders, these type of people with that type of knowledge and education, we will do better. But will they do it? No.
That is the problem.
Gatekeepers. All right,
No,
Seafood Blaps,
it's
you got
not
a
that.
question?
It's not that. It's about educating them to be able to use their talents. If like the gentleman was saying, Mr. Campbell was saying that he has a nursing home, and if he needed experts in the field of computer to educate some of these, or to use the facilities like that, so they know about it and things, that's where it stems from. And then you can go to certain people that will donate money in that direction, and you can spread it, and then you can go into computer business.
Yeah, that's true. But
Now
that's
we're
true.
talking
Sorry,
about it,
Black.
so-
Sorry, Blaps. I know I see you got your hand up, but that's very true what you're saying, Norman. But we as the Black community, come on, we have consistently seen, whether it's the government, the councils, go around our community, not providing our community with what is needed for us to live and go on and set a certain standard. They are not doing this. So we must concede that it's for us to come together. It's for us to realize
You're saying the right things, but what you got to anticipate, right, to be reality? Because with the same argument, when I was in London and we had Simba, and I came up with the idea, and I said, because I remember a gentleman that did everything on his own as a black man, right, and opened a nightclub, and it was famous and so forth. But what I'm trying to say, if I said to them at the community there once, I said, why don't we all just go around, because we don't trust one another. And I was genuinely about it. And I said, look, we can have a committee where there's 4 of us. And if we can get £1 from each black person, which is nothing, within no time, you can have £1 million and build a building. And where we can educate them, if they got skills in craft, they got skill, we can start producing goods. We can start getting into the industry ourselves, because we have our own investment. With £1 million, you can have that building, and you can have schools in there. One teaching electrician, one teaching building work, and so forth. And then we can build our own structure in these frames, right? Where we have our own building company, we have our own engineering company, we have our own, white collar workers, office workers, or whatever, and we can push it out into the field. Then we can start owning businesses where they have to use us.
Yeah, that's right.
And the structure I wanted to do, but you know what the argument was? Oh, but their man will thief the money and this man. No, we got to be honest about it, and that is where it lacks no trust, because so many people have tried some things and they have dipped in the kitty. They have not progressed it, no more than so.
All right, Seafood Blaps, you had your hand up for a while now. Sorry about that, brother.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Campbell, Councillor Campbell.
I know this guy. I'm sure I know you. Where you live?
I grew up in Hockering.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad went to Skefco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have come up against Roger Kirk myself a couple of times.
He's a son. I think he's a South African,
Yeah, I will. I'm currently at Marsh House, where we've recently gone through trouble again, and he's at the center of it. He's trying to take away Marsh House. Yeah. Now, I just wanted to make an observation, and I wanted to see if what you think of it, because you've been on the council. My observation is that we were talking about I run a community group. I don't know if you know that, but I teach martial arts, and I'm my community group is called Community Development Through Martial Arts. So we're trying to educate, bring up the confidence and self-esteem of anyone who, because we're an anti-bullying group. So we don't just teach martial arts, but we teach you how to do anything, but with a martial mind, as a mind.
Martial art is defense, not attack.
Exactly. So now, so we protect, we defend ourselves by preparing for attack. Okay. So in times of war, we think about peace. In times of peace, we think about war. So we're always preparing. Okay. So when I'm saying we got to build, to protect ourselves from the future, a building where we teach the children morality, ethics, we teach them how to run businesses, we teach them how to be constructive with their ideas, to not go against their own people who are around them, trying to build up the area as well for the betterment of the future. So when I tried to get a building, like in Marsh Farm, I tried to get the change of use for the library in Purley Centre.
Yeah.
This was 5 years before it got knocked down. And Roger Kirk axed that big time. I got all the signatures, 1,300 signatures in a day, presented it to them. They said, oh, well, you haven't asked all the rest of the community groups in the area. And I said, if you look on the signatures, all the community groups have signed to say I should go in there, run the building, and let all the community groups use it at the same time. Because my idea is the same as everyone else's here, is to have the community running things.
That's right.
Okay? For we, okay?
That's right.
So now, when it comes down to actually find a building now, I found one in town centre, and I was giving away books for free. I'm going to come to my point real quick. Don't worry, it's just real quick. But I was running the community centre. Well, it's my academy basically in the middle of the town centre. And again, we had problems from the council.
When the 31 club used to be.
No. This is where Yorkshire Bank was, right next to Debenham. You know the Yorkshire Bank on the corner where the post office entrance used to be? Yeah, I was in the Yorkshire Bank. I had both floors of the Yorkshire Bank. It's now an ice cream. It's now an ice cream place.
So where are you now?
I'm in Marsh House.
Oh, you mean
yeah, I'm working with Outreach, Glenn Jenkins, and all them people.
Yeah. Why
So
none of them can always get money?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're hated by the town. Right now, my point is that I've always been involved in community 30 odd years. My mum and dad as well before me. This is why I'm community, or say it's always trying to get children into business. My group is a feeder school to Pinewood Studios. So if you get a career in the studios, you can have a career in anything, hairdressing, anything, any career that you've got is in the film industry. So we teach all our children to get a career from their hobbies and get on with that through that. Okay, but my suggestion is this: you've been involved in the council. How many councillors were black or Caribbean?
Now.
How many? How many?
Now. 3.
No, back then and now.
Well, you had Never White. You had what's his name?
If there were 30, what's the percentage?
There was only a few. Never White, Norris Bullock, Sid Knight. Sid Knight is the one who says he never know we had 3 cricket clubs in a Luton.
Let me make my point now.
Yeah, go on. You know.
How many are Asian?
It's I don't think it's even 50%.
Okay, so that's 50%.
I don't think they're 50% Asians in there.
Okay, but if you go to now the population when we were growing up in the 70s of Berry Park was 80% Irish, white, and the rest was different. And now it's flipped to 80% Asian, and everything else is something different.
Did you hear what I said? 55%.
What I'm saying to you is that all the industries that are making money, like you said, chicken and chips and burgers and stuff like that, is for the Asian people. we need to have an industry that they can't deal with, that they can't take from us, which I feel is the club industry.
No, but you're misunderstanding. You see, with the Asian people, they do.
Well, I haven't made my point yet, bro. I haven't made my point yet.
They're going then.
So we need to get our industry going, which is the entertainment industry. No one can do it better than black people. Okay. So now this is what I'm saying. If we were getting involved in the industry and we all centered our talents towards the entertainment industry, we had our own club. This is what they try to do. Anytime we got somewhere that we can provide entertainment,
There's no clubs in Luton no more.
Sorry?
There's no clubs in Luton no more.
They shut it down because they know that we're going to be successful.
Hold on, bro. What happened to the carnival?
Yeah, tell me now.
Who wrecked that?
Tell me now, what happened to it?
The biggest one-day carnival in the country. Who wrecked it?
Lock it down.
The council.
Yeah. So that's you just.
We used to start at Warden Park all the way into town and back out.
Where's it now?
Come out of Warden Park.
We got a big ass carnival. The Carnival Arts Centre was given pauper's rent, £1 a year for 99 years. And yet Marsh House got it from a demolition, a house that was about to be demolished, put their own money into it from the people them, rate about £100,000 of work, and they're trying to demand rent from them.
I tell you, Glenn Jenkins good at getting funds.
Because he's got Bob Marley on the side. There's a mural.
No, what I can't understand, right? If you're putting the money into it, couldn't you all have owned that building?
They're trying to get asset transfer and they're going to get it, but they've had to fight from it because of this Roger Kirk bitch.
Right. Listen. What I'm saying is that there was a Luton Indian Cricket Club. They take over Luton Town Cricket Club. Right? They had a function in Dunsborough years ago. They raised £50,000 in one night. We had a sit-down meal in the Chiltern Hotel for our cricket club once. Right? We raised £1,000 that night. 3-course meal in the Chiltern Hotel. Right? We had a black girl from London come up as a comedy. Right? We had master ceremony, we had everything. Right? We raised £1,000. Next year, them say them want to just break even. They said, don't get me involved. I don't want to know. I said, you got to try and get a profit wherever you can to keep the club going. You can't run a club without money. Right? So I walk away that year.
Right.
Once you try to just break even, you're going to lose, which you lost £500 that year.
It comes back down to being the lack of our own support.
Management.
It's the lack of our own. It's the lack of our own support why we're in this situation.
You see in business,
exactly,
right? When you see in business, right? Anytime you put your investment, you have to make your investment back. When you make your investment back and you can live off it, it's a profit.
Bottom line.
Of course, that is the bottom line. But then our community is not so willing and quick to support our own. But then when nothing is here, we complain that nothing's here. So even if we're coming up with any ideas, Blacks, or any of these initiatives to try create something, develop back our community for our elderly, for us, for our youngsters, for our men, women, and child, it's like we still don't want to support it, my brother.
It's like drawing blood.
How do we?
No, but Beanie, yeah. you know, we have to also look at our own faults, right? Because of other people, bad management when they've had the childhood.
Yes.
And that is what makes us hold back because we don't trust ourselves.
What's that got to do with bad business? What's that got to do with bad business?
What?
I don't get that.
How long was Never White in Luton Borough Council? Never said to me, you don't know what I done for people in this town. I said, you done nothing. Stop talking bullshit. Excuse my language. You done nothing. I said you all sitting, you night and all that. You all used to sit on that council, and you done nothing. You had for 30 years. You had the opportunity to help your community, and you did nothing.
That's true.
No, I am not running for council next year. I've had enough. Right? Because as far as I'm concerned, the way this council is gone, there is no future for them.
Do you suggest anyone coming up to go into council?
That's a good idea. That we find out who can deal with it and support them.
Jacqueline Burnett. And you have David Agaby is an African guy.
No, I mean, would you say it's a good idea?
Sorry.
Would you say it's a good idea for our people to go into council, or is it a lost cause?
Well, the point is, the only way you're gonna get there is in the Labour group, or possible the Liberal.
There's a glass ceiling then, yeah.
But blacks at the end of the day, blacks again. If anyone steps into that position,
a black person will struggle to get in the Labour group because the age. I'll tell you something. The woman that was the deputy leader of the council, she's married into a man who is a conservative.
I wonder they clash at night.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
I see their future. DIVORCE.
I am sorry for our community in this time. The only thing I sticking with is the cricket club, and hopefully through our vision, right? And as I said to you, if we can get our act together, we can get money thrown at us. And I ain't talking about 100,000. I'm talking about a lot more. But we gotta. If you have youngsters, the money will follow.
Our mentality has to change.
You have female now in cricket.
Basically,
the money will follow. I'm gonna tell you now, we at Crawley Green, right? Do you know the first female football in this country took place in Crawley Green?
I didn't know that.
The first female football match took part in Crawley Green.
Yes, I saw the video of them. The same place where we have our cricket ground. But we are looking beyond that. We are looking to get our own pavilion, our own ground, and everything. That is our vision. But we have to put certain things in place. And as I said, youngsters, female, we have to give our report and our finance with different, leagues and everything. So it's a uphill, but we're trying to do it.
Okay, family. We're gonna wrap up now. Is anybody else with one last question for Brother Gilbert, Councillor Gilbert?
Hey, go on. Go on.
No, I'm just asking. I was asking everybody if there's anybody else.
I'm gonna give you one other thing now.
All right, go on then, brother.
You wrap it up.
Luton Town Centre. The council spent millions of pounds trying to get ideas what to do with it. Waste of money. The town centre is dead. Finished.
That's apparent.
Are you gonna get this pawn shop, betting shop, and all that? Now, this lady from John Lewis, she come up with an idea to save the high street. Instead of having business rates, she said, have a land register tax this is her idea.
Mm.
The business rate is killing the shops in the town center,
Right.
right?
That's true.
To rent and pay a business rate in a town center is so bloody expensive, right? She said, have a land register tax. She says, and the town center will grow back. But is anybody ever listen?
Have they put that to the council?
Do you know all these big shopping malls, right? Right across the country, Blue Water, you name them. The owner of them all gone bankrupt.
Mm.
They're all gone bankrupt.
All
Because
the
nobody
shopping
can-
malls
Yeah.
across
The actual
England.
owner of the buildings, they're bankrupt because nobody can afford the rent and things. You rent somewhere for 30,000 a year, then you got the business rate, then you got to stock it.
You got to make this
Expensive.
sell.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
Luton Town Centre now, it's dead.
Mm. Yeah. It's a state still.
Anyway, brethren, nice speaking to you all, right?
Give thanks,
Yes.
brother.
Thank
Peace and love. And I would love to sit in again and hear what's going on.
Yes, sir. Why not?
We will arrange it. But you can come by any Wednesday. We're on every Wednesday, 6:30 till 8 o'clock, discussing various topics. So
well,
you can come
tell me
in
the thing,
anytime
I
you
could
want.
sit in, and whoever you have in place,
Mhm.
I could
Yeah.
probably chuck a few questions.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
would be blessed.
I'll give you a call because it was me that called you anyway the other day. So I'll give you a call further down and we'll arrange all of that. Okay.
Marvin, isn't it?
Marvin, yes.
Marvin, sorry. Yeah, I got
Marvin,
your
yeah,
name
it was
ready.
me that called you.
All right.
Yes. So
Peace,
I'll
peace and
give you a
love,
call soon and thank you for your time. Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And you say Mark in the Caribbean, eh? You with
Yes, he's gonna live
He's in
life.
Jamaica
I'm
at the
gonna
minute.
tell you what. Mark played the music at my 25th anniversary.
All right. Yeah,
And
you
it
know,
was
they
a
live
youth
life.
house. It was a youth house, and then they knock it down and build the carnival center.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Okay then.
All right, brother. Yeah,
All right
thank
then.
you so much
Thanks
for your
very
time.
much.
Peace. All right, catch you
Peace
later.
and love.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.